With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Live from multiple locations via the miracle of Skype, it's the LTN Hour. Let's talk NASCAR with your host, Todd Bailing. Co-host, Ed Kaluka. Featuring dangerous Dan Margetta. And Brian Schmidt. LTN is a caller-driven program, and your participation is encouraged by calling 414-421-7901. That's 414-421-7901. Now, the creator and host of the fastest hour in radio, Todd Bailing.
And we're glad you could join us on our 39th season premiere here on the program. Todd Bailing in Phoenix, Arizona, joined by my three partners, starting with Ed Kaluka of West Bend, Wisconsin. Ed, you and I are the only ones that would understand. Jack Benny was 39, wasn't he?
Wow. Good morning, Todd.
Hi. And we're 39. How about that? Dan Margetta of St. Francis, Wisconsin. Hey, man.
Hey, good morning. Most of the long-running TV shows like Seinfeld only went about, they were going close to 39 years, right?
No, not quite. I don't even know what the longest shows are, only 20 years or something like that. Yeah, but, Sunday mornings, And Brian Schmidt of Ootsburg, Wisconsin. Hey, Brian.
Hey, that means I was 7 years old when you guys started doing this. Wow.
You're the young buck.
Yeah, and I don't feel that young.
Oddly, that's the way it works. We are in a new season of racing, and if you think for 1 minute that this is some sort of off-season and there's nothing happening, guess again. There is all kinds of stuff going on right now. Wisconsin is well represented at every place they are racing this weekend. Let's see. We raced. Well, first of all, this is a big week. If you have Flow, even if you don't have Flow, you should get it because they don't charge you any more to watch it. The Chili Bowl starts tomorrow. It's the 9th through the 14th. And there are, Brian, how many cars?
370.
And a couple of drivers from Wisconsin at the very least. Todd Cleaver is the only one that jumps to mind, but I'm positive there's a bunch of guys down there. Brian, do you know of more offhand?
I know that Brandon Welty from Sun Prairie, he's a Badger Midget guy. He's going to be down there as well. And kind of going through the list right now, and a little later I'll tell you what days each guy are going to be running because they're going to divide those 370 cars into 5 different groups, and then each night they will run their specific show. So if you run on Monday, you will not see the track again until Saturday. A lot of downtime.
And this is, of course, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they had the preliminary to this is called the Tulsa Shootout, where they have those mini, what are they called?
Like micro sprints and
go-kart
type stuff, yeah.
That's the one that Kyle Busch's kid races, right?
Correct. I think it's like a 600cc micro sprint, they may call them. Yeah, they ran something similar to that at Plymouth years ago.
You're going to be blown away, folks, when you hear this. The Tulsa Shootout this year, there were 1,252 cars down there, and you say, wow, that seems like a lot of cars. Well, yeah, and it was down 487 cars from the year before when they had 1,739 cars. Well, that certainly is a up-and-coming division, I would say, racers of the future. But there's not just kids in there. There's adults in there, too, right?
All just one class, and there's multiple classes of cars that ran in the Tulsa Shootout.
Like 4, right? 4 different classes? Or more than that?
Maybe a little more, I think.
Okay.
And then Zimmerman's from up here went down there, Jake Zimmerman, and and his dad, Rich.
Kyle Busch was there, too, in a car. And there were, I mean, he was in one of those micro sprints, too, competing against his kid. I don't know if they raced head-to-head or not. That kind of information I leave up to Brian to find out because I don't really know. You have 1,200 cars. I suppose it's rare that you get to compete against anyone specifically at any one time.
Some of that stuff goes by age classes, too, so they have, like, different ages set up. So the adults are not racing against the kids, so... Yeah, Kyle would not be racing against his son.
Oh, okay, good. Well,
you get to watch heat races all day long.
Oh, God. And a lot of wrecks. And I have a short attention span sometimes. It's difficult to get by a lot of wrecks in an 8-lap heat. I know that there was a kid like 6 years old, and there was a guy in his 80s, I think, that was racing there too. So, yeah, talk about a wide array of drivers. The ages were all over the map. Now, that was just as we're getting started. There are things going on this weekend in Dillon, South Carolina. There is they call it the New Year's Bash, I think. It's for sportsman cars, and 3 of the absolute best from Wisconsin are not only entered in the thing out of the 55 cars, but they qualified 1st, 3rd, and 5th. Dave Trout of New Lisbon, Wisconsin is on the pole. James Swan of Genoa City, Wisconsin is 3rd. Jason Tolma is 5th. And boy, oh boy, that's going to be good. It's expensive. What does it cost to see that thing? Did you guys say $35?
Yeah, it's on Racing America. It's a pay-per-view. I think it's $34.99. There was a couple of codes you could find somewhere to get like 15% off. Starts at 1 o'clock this afternoon. I think it's a last chance race and then the main event.
Let me stumble over my tongue here. Jake Trado is also down there. That's Dennis Lampman's grandson. He raced last night in a challenger division, which he told me is similar to a limited late. Greg Peterson was the winner, and Jake Trado finished 6th, his first race in a full-bodied car. He's one of those legend guys, and he's made a career out of legends, actually. So that's what happened there. Then they raced at New Smyrna Beach, Florida. They only had 15 cars show up for this 50-lapper called the Red Eye 50-50. Casey Roderick won it going away, but Johnny Sauter went down there and drove for Richie Waters and finished 2nd in the thing. So that's pretty cool. Anybody else? There were some pretty decent names. I think William Sawalich was down there too, wasn't he?
Yeah, what's his face? The guy from who has all those cars. He had 2 Pro Late models, and he had 2 Super Late.
Donnie Wilson Motorsports.
Wilson, yes, Donnie Wilson. So there were some heavy hitters there for sure.
Out of the 15 cars, imagine that. They probably shaken down for coming up. There's a lot coming up at New Smyrna Beach Speedway, so that's a pretty good thing. The Pro Late Model winner from last night was Michael Hind, so in case you were wondering about that. So that's what's been happening. Now, in the Chili Bowl, which we mentioned is coming up, there are going to be 4 NASCAR drivers, and they're not going to be this year Christopher Bell and Kyle Larson. Those two, no, not Bell. Larson right now is racing in New Mexico, at Vado, New Mexico, in the Southwest Shootout. Is that what it's called, Dan?
Wild West Shootout with his super late model team.
Yeah, and he raced last night, finished 5th, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, yep, he finished 5th, which guy had never seen the track before. Pretty good debut there.
Yeah, not bad. But he's skipping, and that's kind of a big deal. He's skipping. I think there was a kind of a pissing contest going on there between himself and a promoter about the Chili Bowl. But Alex Bowman will be there. Chase Briscoe will be there. Part-time racers J.J. Yaley and Josh Balicki of Wisconsin will be making his dirt debut down there. He's a road racer, runs NASCAR, and is going to be racing a midget for the first time. So that'll be fun to watch this week at no extra cost on Flow Racing. In case you're
and there was a little bit of a deal. I think it was maybe midsummer where both Bell and Larson kind of criticized the Chili Bowl for not raising their purse because they're getting so many cars and they're getting so much exposure at the event. And that was the big that was the big match that went on there, and they said they should raise it. And I mean, there's a huge expense into putting that event on, which I think, not everybody understands, because, you're renting that building. I believe it's on a fairground, so you're dealing with stuff like that. You got to haul all that dirt in there. You gotta have all the people in there. You got to clean the place. You got to ventilate it. Then you got to take it all down. So even it's not like just having it at a normal racetrack where, you're going to bring 370 cars in and you're going to bring all this pit pass money in. This is a large expense to it, and expenses are only increasing, as we know, as time has gone on here. So I think that's kind of why the purse hasn't been paid out what it was, because of that, and it's kind of a back and forth deal there. So that's why those two main guys are not running out.
And it certainly is not affecting car count, and it's not affecting the front gate either, is it?
No, that's kind of like getting Packer tickets to go to that. I mean, once you got them, and if you know somebody that you can switch with, maybe you'll be able to get in there. Otherwise, you're not going to get in.
We'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is outfitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's Company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
Inflation. Compensation. Listen here to win $1,000 to kick off your money 23. Happening now.
Log on to thebig920.com.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily, from premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
Sunday, it's win and you're in when the Lions come to Lambeau.
There is magic at Lambeau Field.
Coverage begins at 5, kickoff at 7:15. Packers football on the game is presented by Annex Wealth Management. Give your retirement plan the attention it deserves.
So we were only off for 2 weeks, but a lot has happened since we were on the program. How do you time having a baby during the off season? That's pretty good. Kyle Larson and his wife managed to time it perfectly. Matter of fact, they were able to write the little bugger off too. He had it right before he had him on New Year's Eve. Cooper Donald Larson was born to Kyle and Caitlin Larson, so that's pretty cool. There were a couple of engagements. Eric Jones got engaged. Let's see. Greg Biffle got married again. Remember, he had a little problem with the other wife. He was putting cameras up around the house. I forget how that all worked. That was crazy stuff. So he got remarried. Bubba Wallace married Amanda Carter, his longtime girlfriend. They got married. That's all planned to be done during this time of year, you know. And lost a couple of folks. Ken Block, who I was never all that aware of what he did, but Matt Losey told me before the program he did YouTube videos. He was a drifter type, but I think it's the connection with Monster Energy that made him famous, because he did all these. There was a snowmobile accident. He got killed on New Year's Day. That was bad. And a guy that he was a regular at Slinger Speedway for a long time, Terry Van Roy of Darboy. Say it with me. Oh, boy. Passed away on Christmas Eve. He was a two-time figure 8 champion up there, 91 and 92, I guess. And comings and goings, just doesn't stop. I just can't believe how many of them happen, though.
And he was still running Grand Nationals this year yet at 141. And I think
Terry Van Roy was?
Oh, yeah, he was a Grand National regular. I work with a couple guys that run in that division, and they said he was just as competitive as he always was right up until this year. So I think he had a stroke or something a week before, and
in his 50s too. That's pretty bad.
And you watch figure 8 races around, even up at Kaukauna or at Slinger, he was a standout. And same with like the Eva Destruction shows that Kaukauna had. He was always a star in that. I mean, the guy was it was just fun to be around.
At the old Chilton Fairgrounds track, when they used to run Friday nights, he was the dominant car in the Grand National division there in the late 90s and early 2000s. He was, if you beat him on a night, and I was on a team that we did that in the late 90s, and you did something, but he was lights out there almost every week.
Pretty cool. Oh, what else happened while we were off? Well, for one reason or another, JR Motorsports shop got hit by lightning. If you didn't see the video yet, it is out there. There was a car sitting in a parking lot that got absolutely blasted by a bolt of lightning. When was that? On New Year's Day, maybe? I think, possibly.
I don't know. It was that time, but the video is pretty spectacular. We get to see.
Oh, yeah.
How hard it is, but wow.
Yeah, you could look it up. JR Motorsports shop lightning hit, and you'll be able to see it. Here's one I want you guys to kind of explain to me. We've got a new Formula One team coming, and Andretti is getting into Formula One. I don't follow it that closely, but there's so much to it. Think does this work?
Well, you can't just say you want to have a Formula One team. There's 10 teams there, and they all got to say who gets in. So I think does it have to be unanimous? It might. I'm not sure how that works, but Andretti's been working for a while to get in F1, and he doesn't have everybody's blessing yet because they like doing their own thing. They don't like sharing the pie with anybody else. They kind of put things for him to do. It's been going on for about a year now, and he keeps hitting them. And one of the things they had last said, well, boy, it'd be nice if he brought a manufacturer in. Well, Andretti brings GM and Cadillac, which is probably the biggest, U.S. manufacturer. How can you say no now? So we'll see what happens. I mean, he wanted Colton Herta, I think, to drive, and they didn't want him driving. They didn't think he was good enough. And I mean, there's all kinds of crazy stuff behind the scenes there at F1 just to get in the gate. And he keeps trying. I wish they let him do it because it'd be kind of cool to have an American team again. I mean, we got Haas.
Isn't there like a license that you have to obtain too? Like, just because you're an IndyCar driver, you don't get the Formula One license. I thought I remember hearing something about that too. Where
they didn't.
Shockingly enough, Colton Herta doesn't meet the standard, which blows my mind because he's one of the best IndyCar drivers out there.
Right. They didn't think IndyCar races had as much credibility to get you enough points or ever to get your FIA license.
That's crazy.
You could maybe explain this one to me. It used to be, win on Sunday, sell on Monday. I realize that Cadillac has some absolutely spectacular performance cars, but it's not really a performance kind of a company. They just have really nice cars that happen to go really fast. How is that somehow being marketed through Formula One?
They're starting to make more competition-wise. I mean, they had their set up their names the weekend at Road America. Brian got to drive one.
Yeah, I didn't drive it fast enough, according to that guy.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino this year.
I was only playing for fun, so winning this was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's #1 social casino experience. It's serious fun. With over 80 casino-style games to choose from, you too could win life-changing amounts of cash. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and give them a whirl. That's ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of a winner.
You drove a IMSA car?
Oh, they had Cadillac back in the back part of the track. They have like part of the go-kart track. They set them up and they had you drive those cars as hard as you could possibly drive them, really late braking on the throttle real quick. So they're really trying to push the performance-based stuff. And they've had Cadillac, the DPI cars were Cadillac for the last probably 5-6 years. So they're looking into pushing that even farther along. I think, Dan, remember way back the old Pirelli World Challenge, didn't they have Cadillacs too that they had media rides in a couple years ago?
Yeah, I got to ride it with
like Courtney or one of those guys.
Yeah, Johnny gave me a ride around North America in a Cadillac.
So you were on that go-kart track in a Cadillac?
Yes.
Boy, I feel pretty fortunate. The Autobahn down in Joliet, Illinois, I drove a Cadillac CTS-V on that place with an invitation from my friend Joe Graziano, the ex-promoter up at the Dells. And that was a 660 horsepower Cadillac CTS-V on the big track. Yeah.
But, I think of a good time to get into that for Cadillac. I mean, F1 is really popular here in the States because of that Netflix series, and they got races down in Miami and in Vegas coming up. I mean, it's a good time for an American company to get involved with it.
I guess.
Along with Haas.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit BonafideSafe.com.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
The Milwaukee Admirals begin a 4-game road trip Tuesday night when they travel to Tucson to take on the Roadrunners. First ever meeting between the teams. Tomasino, bottom of the left circle. Tomasino cuts to the slot. He shoots and scores! Pre-game coverage at 7. Face-off at 7:30 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app. Jeff Orlowski called it in the intermissions.
I assume everybody watched the Rose Bowl parade, which was actually on Monday. It was the second instead of the first, and to celebrate NASCAR's 75th season of competition, they had a float in the Rose Bowl parade with those notable champions, with all those championships and race wins. Richard Petty and Raja Caruth. Ooh. What exactly? Is it that obvious that they're trying to market to a black audience that they put Raja Caruth up there with Richard Petty? And I'm sure everybody said, "Oh, there's NASCAR drivers up there. Oh, it's Richard Petty. Who's the other guy? I don't know. Who's that other guy? Raja Caruth."
He's one of the guys they're trying to bring up. I mean, he's I don't think he's had any Cup starts yet, right? He had ARCA starts, and he's done a couple trucks maybe or Xfinity.
Yeah, that could be.
I think he's a full-time this year.
And coming up, Brian and I talked to him in Phoenix. He seems like a pretty nice kid. I mean, he's running all those bags, and he's bringing McDonald's, buddy.
I'm sure he is, but does he belong on a parade float with Richard Petty?
And those of you that watch the parade may be saying, what are you talking about? What NASCAR float?
Yeah.
You're correct. It was not shown on either the ABC broadcast or the NBC broadcast. Evidently, their claim is there was a breakdown of a float, and when they finally got the parade going again, it had run past the network time to show that the NASCAR float was at the end. So the only way you saw it was the local Fox affiliate from the LA area who was showing the parade actually showed the float come through. It was a cool looking float, had kind of like the arch of the Coliseum in the back, and that's what they're promoting. They're promoting the Clash at the Coliseum coming up. So I don't know. Some people may say, ironically enough, NBC does do NASCAR, but NBC doesn't show the Clash at the Coliseum, so they kind of snuff them a little there.
Oh, yeah, it's on Fox, so why would the NBC show that then?
Correct.
Oh, I don't know. Guys, have you figured out... I mean, I posted something on Facebook about this when they showed yet another sponsor that Kyle Busch has this year. MGM and their betting site is now another new sponsor on the number 8 car for Kyle Busch this year. And, there's sponsors that carried over from last year, I realize. But why is it that Kyle Busch can get sponsors on Richard Childress's team, and for one reason or another, Joe Gibbs couldn't get sponsors for Kyle Busch on the 18 car, so he had to let him go? Is this now, before you say it's because he wanted to put his grandson in the car, I don't think that was the case myself. Yes,
charges too much money.
Well, and I think that's, you had Kyle Busch all this time, and you were getting X amount of dollars for him, and he was worth it. And so Richard Childress on the other side didn't have Kyle Busch, and we had Reddick, who was okay. So all those sponsors paid a certain amount. They're probably jumping on, hey, we'll keep sponsoring. We get Kyle Busch now. Where on the other side, they got Ty Gibbs now. So now the price isn't the same. I mean, if you're a sponsor, you're paying this, you're like, well, okay, I don't have Kyle Busch. I need to maybe pay less or something for the driver you got now. So you got to renegotiate everything. I think that might even out in a year or two if Busch is over at Childress longer. I mean, right now, all the sponsors that were on Reddick's car last year, like, hey, we got Kyle Busch. And they're not really, I don't think they're paying any more money. I don't know for sure. But it seems like that's the enthusiasm there, where on the other side, the price was high to begin with, and you'd have to really come down if you want to get it.
There's a rumor Interstate Batteries wanted more for their money.
Well, they did get more races, I guess, coming up this year. So a lot of, more than they were on last year.
Okay, that makes some sense. Because, like you said, they lost Kyle Busch, one of the most prolific names in the sport. It isn't going to be long, as far as I'm concerned, before Ty Gibbs is one of the more prolific names in our sport. As a matter of fact, we could have opened that up. Who's going to win more races this year, Kyle Busch or the kid? I mean, can you imagine that?
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know. It all depends upon how these cars come out and how good they are, because every year one of the manufacturers seems to have a very down year. So which one is it going to be next? Last year it was kind of Ford. Ford didn't get going right away. A couple of years before that, Toyota really struggled. So which manufacturer is going to come out of the box on top of it to start the season? That's the one that's going to have the success. And if it's Chevrolet, then Kyle Busch has a shot of doing it. If it's Toyota, then I can see Ty having more wins.
Isn't that crazy? I think the kid is going to win a race in his rookie year, as young as he is. And of all things, to have your biggest mentor in this world die basically out of nowhere, like his father did after the Phoenix race this year. And by the way, I'm not sure this has been talked about, but Ty Gibbs' mother is going to start having more to do in the day-to-day operation at Joe Gibbs Racing to take her husband's place since Coy Gibbs passed away. So what's his mother's name? Anybody, either one of you remember?
No, I don't know it off the top of my head.
Yeah, she's the one that's going to suddenly have more to say at Gibbs Racing. So interesting developments there. But the kid, I believe, is going to win a race in his first year. If he's going to win anywhere, it's going to probably be at a road course. But I had no idea he was that good on road courses. But look at how he came right out of the box to win in his first race in the Xfinity Series. He's an exceptional talent. We may not like him, but you can't take anything away from him, right?
No, absolutely not. No, he's and then he has his moments. There's a good part of the season last year where he seemed to calm down and was real focused on running as good as he can and giving the right answers. And then at the end of the year, he had his episode at Martinsville, and everybody hated him again. So we'll see how he comes out this year. Also, what Ty Gibbs we're going to see. If we're going to see the genuine one who's focused fully on doing the best he can, or if we're going to see the arrogant little punk,
Yeah, the one that punched Sam Mayer in the face too.
Yeah,
you know.
and took out his teammate in the last last race of the year.
Yeah, there were some questionable moments, but you gotta give him the benefit of the doubt. He is a young guy, and by the time he gets his head out of wherever it is right now, that guy is going to be pretty spectacular, whether you like him or not. It reminds me
You're
about
a lot higher on him than I am.
With the Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
This is your captain speaking. We've got clear runway and the weather's fine, but we're just going to circle up here a while and get lucky. No, nothing like that. It's just these cash prizes add up quick. So I suggest you sit back, keep your tray table upright, and start getting lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With any dream, the wind won't always be at your back. The sun won't always be shining, and some rain is going to fall. American Family Insurance is like a good, solid roof that you can trust to protect your biggest dreams. With plans that could save you up to 23% when you bundle your home and auto. Also, you can continue to dream fearlessly, no matter what comes your way. American Family Insurance. Get a quote or find an agent at amfam.com.
Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company assigned its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Really? You don't think he's got that kind of talent?
Nope.
Oh, my. Well, isn't that interesting? We're going to find out pretty quick, Ed, with these cars. That's one of those things. We're glad you tuned in. This is our first program of the 39th season of radio with LTN, and we're very honored you took a little time to be with us. We're going to take a break and be right back.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lakes Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
As a growing manufacturing company, we needed security solutions. We chose Bonafide because of the services they offer, pricing, and trusted reputation. But it's their outstanding service and support that convinced us we made the right choice with Bonafide.
When businesses need security, they contact Bonafide Security Solutions. From locks and alarms to safes and surveillance, we do it all. We are Bonafide. We protect what you value. For your free security survey, call us today or visit bonafidesafe.com.
This is Two Pros and a Cup of Joe.
We're getting back into it. Jim Harbaugh and the rumors back to the NFL are starting to swirl.
He was a heck of a head coach. He's been a heck of a head coach.
How many times does it become a conversation? Because we were just talking about Sean Payton creating a market. This is creating a market as well.
Two Pros, LeVar Arrington, Brady Quinn, and a Cup of Joe, Jonas Knox.
Weekday mornings, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
I just heard that spot for Bonafide, and it just happened to just jump right into my head that the Bonafide annual, what was it, like a holiday party was last night, wasn't it, Dan?
Oh, yes, it was. It was another fun time as usual. Fun seeing everybody, getting catch up everybody again, and heck, we even talked to a few people there on our internet deal.
Yes, we were. Briefly.
I heard they're trying to get you passed out. Did they succeed?
At the party, maybe during the afternoon. You go bar hopping with some of those guys. I'm a rookie at that deal, you know.
You're just learning, are you? They did announce this week, speaking of that party, and I know Steve Apel was there, that Steve is officially an entrant into the Chili Willy 150 at Tucson Raceway Park coming up the same day as the Busch Clash. And I don't know if it's going to be televised yet, but Steve is going to make the trip all the way out here to Arizona to race for the first time. So that'll be pretty cool. I thought it was kind of odd this week that Vince Welch, the announcer for the Truck Series on Fox, announced that he will no longer be with Fox. He said he had no bitterness. He did it in a social media post. And I'm trying to figure out no bitterness. Does that mean he quit or he was fired? It sounds like he was fired, doesn't it?
Or his contract was not renewed?
Well, that's much like being, fired. Not where you're owed money. You're just not brought back. But either way, it seems to me that he was one of the better announcers out there.
And he did
a hell of a lot better than Michael Waltrip.
And they were, he had to make up for Michael Waltrip. They were on the same broadcast, And
he did more than just the truck racing. I mean, I think it was last year I remember tuning into a college basketball game, Marquette game, and he was doing that. So he did a lot of stuff year-round there.
Very, very strange. We'll never know what went into it. But
and you wonder if it was kind of a difficult situation for him because since COVID, when Fox does the second half of the truck series, when they are not doing the Cup Series and the Xfinity Series stuff, they do those truck races remotely from Charlotte. So I think it was even the championship race last year. It's him, Phil Parsons, and Michael Waltrip or whoever's on that broadcast in a room watching the race through the TV. And I know a couple of years ago we were at Road America and we talked to Jan Beekes, who was doing the IMSA stuff, and we talked about how difficult that is when the guys are in the booth at another state and you got to throw it down to them on the pit thing. So maybe there was some frustration built in, too, with them changing the way they do their races when years ago they sent you to the track every week.
I hope that changes now that COVID is, for the most part, not an issue anymore.
Yeah,
that was the excuse before, right?
It's a cost issue now. I mean, think about it. The money you're saving, you're only flying 2 people out to the track when you're not doing the entire thing. That's always the strange part about that, how NBC went ahead and did the Cup and the Xfinity Series, but not the trucks, and Fox kept the trucks throughout the season. So instead of sending 2 separate crews out there, the other group can just sit in Charlotte and watch it on TV, which it's got to be a challenge to do that.
Yeah, then you run the risk of missing things because all you see is the camera. Remember, it was at Knoxville this year, that one truck up on a berm and actually rolled over, and they didn't see it because the camera didn't see it, and everybody at the racetrack was like, how come nobody reported this happened? It was pretty spectacular, and nobody saw it.
It's all like COVID-related stuff, right? I mean, that's when they had this great idea, start doing that of keeping the announcers away from the racetrack and doing it from somewhere else. It happened with baseball, I know, during that season.
Yeah. They realized how much money they can save by not having to put people up in rooms and flights and all that kind of stuff,
No kidding.
So it'd be interesting to hear if he ever comes off, when off the record kind of talks about how that went and if any of that stuff built into it.
What all happened. Hey, speaking of those former NASCAR race announcers that are no longer race announcers, such as Eli Gold, a friend of this program, and he is the voice of the Alabama Crimson Tide. He has cancer. He has said it is a treatable form of cancer and he'll be back, but he's been gone from the broadcasts since about halfway through the season last year. And I didn't realize he lost his ability to walk. So I'm not sure what kind of cancer he has, what kind of treatable form it is, but he's getting better and he'll be back to those Alabama football broadcasts. But just the fact that he lost his ability to walk is kind of scary. I mean, that's not really a side effect of getting chemotherapy, So I don't know what kind of treatment he was getting, but pretty crazy stuff for sure. Did you see the new owner of the Carolina Cowboys? And you say to yourself, what the hell is the Carolina Cowboys? It's a professional bull rider team. They call it PBR, but I'm going to tell you, I'm from Milwaukee, and I know what PBR is, and it has nothing to do with professional bull riding.
I didn't know there was such a league.
There is a league of professional bull riders, and Richard Childress is the new owner. I think we had a story last year that one of his sons was the general manager for the team. Like, how did they happen to cross between being a race car driver and knowing anything about bull riding? I don't know. But Childress is in it. He's an owner along with another guy. And there's franchises. I know we got one out here. So
really?
Yeah, there's one. As a matter of fact, that's the only professional team playing in the stadium, the nearby stadium where the hockey team played until they played hardball with the city and got themselves a new stadium across town. So, very strange. Our friend Parker Retzlaff, you've heard that name before. He's from Rhinelander, Wisconsin. He is now a full-time racer in the Xfinity Series. He had very limited experience. He was a Midwest Truck Series. I don't even think he ran full-time with the Truck Series. Did he, Dan?
No, he had spot starts. He had some Xfinity starts last year, the year before, I think last year.
But I mean, up here.
Oh, up here. No, he ran the Midwest Truck Series. Yeah, he ran some races there.
Not even a full-timer.
I don't think so. Then he went down south and he ran a couple things down there, like late model stock stuff. And he's also another iRacer guy.
Oh, okay.
He had a couple good runs, too, I think, last year in the Xfinity Series. Some top 15 performances early in the season, and then we didn't see much of him the rest of the year.
The name Jordan Anderson, that's that racer that had what was their car number, 31, Dan? Or 7? Or both?
Jordan Anderson used to run a truck number 3.
Oh, 3, that was it.
Yeah.
He got burned in a race and jumped out the window, if you remember that last year. That's the guy I'm thinking of. It's Larry McReynolds' son-in-law. He got out of the truck. He's not going to race it this year, I don't believe. And he has Jeb Burton in one Xfinity car and Parker Retzlaff of Rhinelander in a second Xfinity team. Is he even going to have his truck team back?
I don't know. Good
They
question.
didn't talk about it, did they? I think he moved up a little bit, moving on up to the Xfinity Series. Well, Parker Retzlaff found a place to race. It's amazing. I wonder where Parker Retzlaff gets his backing. And that's pretty much a question because
they had some relationship with a large wood processing company up in that area. I remember looking it up last year. It was on all of his cars, and I believe the family might have some ties to that company. I don't know the name of the company off the top of my head right now, but I know when we had him on last year, we looked up some of his background, and there was some tie to a larger outfit up in the Wausau area that does stuff with wood.
Okay. Well, good to know. I'm glad you're listening. We're going to sneak away for a break. This is the first episode of the 39th season of LTN. We'll be right back.
Miller Sales and Service is the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer for customer service and satisfaction. Serving the area since 1939, Miller's is located on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. As the Midwest's #1 Bravo trailer dealer, Miller's has all kinds of Bravo trailers from 8 feet to 48 feet in stock. They also have a selection of B&B utility and dump trailers, reliable and Chilton open aluminum and steel trailers. With over 50 pre-owned low-mileage cars, trucks, and SUVs, Miller's has just the vehicle you are looking for. Miller's also carries a full line of Alumacraft boats and Manitou pontoon boats, complete with Evinrude outboards. Why not buy from racers who know what racers want and need? With Miller's Sales and Service on the corner of Highway 57 and K in Random Lake. Call Jerry, Tom, or Brad Miller today at 920-994-4358. That's Miller's Sales and Service, 920-994-4358.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend has everything you need with fresh mulch arriving daily. From premium hardwood mulch to hemlock and pine bark to EnviroMulch in red, gold, chocolate brown, and black colors. PMF also has a large variety of decorative stone and granite, as well as field stone, topsoil, and compost. For all your landscaping needs, visit PMF Landscape Supply, 5470 River Road in West Bend. Call 262-338-8800 or visit PMFlandscape.com. Friends of racing for many years. PMF Landscape Supply in West Bend.
And now, the Dan Patrick Show.
Dan Patrick. Jim Harbaugh, do you want to go to the Colts? Do you want to go to the Broncos? Do you want any of those jobs? Like, I wondered about Jeff Saturday. If you're Jeff Saturday, do you go, yeah, I want to continue coaching here? Or do you go, nope, just interim. That's it. Just passing through. I did Mr. Ursay a solid. He's done a terrible job.
The Dan Patrick Show.
Dan and the Danettes and you.
Weekday mornings 8 to 11 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
And now the LTN Hour presents Dirt on the Dirt with Brian Schmidt.
As we've often said, there is no off-season in dirt racing. We say Happy New Year on Sunday, and we go racing right away on Wednesday out in Yuma, Arizona at the Cocopa Speedway. It's the IMCA.TV Winter Nationals. It's a full month-long event they have between the two different tracks out there. Night number one, as I said, was Wednesday. The IMCA Modifieds, they had over 90 cars there. Tim Ward was your winner on Wednesday night. They also had IMCA Stock Cars. Jim Horshey was your winner. They did it again Thursday night at Cocopa. And in the Modifieds, Colin Hibden was your winner. And the Stock Cars was Shelby Williams. Once again, Friday night out there for night number 3, Tim Ward picked up the win again. That's pretty good to win 2 features when you have almost 100 cars each night. That's pretty impressive. And the IMCA Stock Cars was Jim Horshey again.
And Kenny Wallace was out here for that, too, by the way.
Yeah, and I think he may have made 1 or 2 features, but he didn't have any results worth mentioning there. So it's not his car, though. He's driving somebody else's stuff out there. Last night at Cocopa in the IMCA Modifieds, Ethan Dotson was your winner, and Shelby Williams won again in the IMCA Stock Cars. They'll take a couple days off, and they'll get back at it once again at Cocopa on Wednesday for another 4 nights out there.
And Kenny Schrader will be here this next weekend.
Yep. We'll see how he fares out there with all that competition. None of the Wisconsin guys made the tow out there, which was kind of surprising. Usually the IMCA mod guys from around here like to go out there, but maybe they will. They got a whole month to be out there. Also yesterday out at Talladega, Alabama, the Talladega Short Track, the 32nd Annual Ice Bowl. $7,500 to win for the Ironman Super Late Model Series. The ageless wonder Ray Cook picked up the win. He only runs a couple times a year, so it was impressive to see him get the win. In the undercard, the 3,000 win Crate Racing USA Late Models, Jason Welshine was your winner. Jason Welshine is the guy a couple years ago, I think it was the first year at the Dome, walked out with the big sign that said, Scott who? Real big guy. He ran Super Late Models a couple times, so he got the win there. And then also last night in Vado, New Mexico, they kicked off the Wild West Shootout for the Super Late Models. 10,000 to win. They had about 55 Super Late Models show up. And when Jonathan Davenport's rig shows up, most people will expect him to win, and he did exactly that. He picked up right where he left off from his amazing season in 2022, picking up his first win last night, 10,000 to win there. He'll be tough to beat all week. The USRA Modifieds were also out there, and Jake O'Neill picked up the win there. They'll do it again tonight for 10,000 to win, take a couple days off. They'll race Wednesday, and then they'll run next week Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, with next week Sunday's race being 25,000 to win to wrap up the Wild West Shootout. So there is no off time in dirt racing, that's for sure.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino this year.
I was only playing for fun, so winning this was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's #1 social casino experience. It's serious fun. With over 80 casino-style games to choose from, you too could win life-changing amounts of cash. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and give them a whirl. That's ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void or prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of a winner.
Are you interested in a career that helps patients relearn life skills after an accident? Become an occupational therapy assistant. Bryant and Stratton College is offering students a flexible and unique path to earning their occupational therapy assistant associate degree. All lectures are completed online, and students will only need to come to our Wauwatosa campus 1 weekend per month. Find out more by visiting bryantstratton.edu. Get started now. Classes begin on January 11th.
And that's it?
That's all the results we have for this week, yes.
Oh, well, it's January 8th, and it's amazing how much there actually was. You were saying that you knew some of the cars that are going to be racing on what days they're going to be racing from Wisconsin at the Chili Bowl?
Yeah, I kind of went through it a little bit, and we'll go through each day here. On Monday, Chase Briscoe will be running. Bill Rose, who was an IRA champion, he'll be running Monday night, and Chris Wyndham. Tuesday night is when Josh Balicki takes the track. Along with Taylor Kuhl, Tim McCready from Late Model fame. Alex Bowman will be running Tuesday night. Buddy Kofoid, and then Nick Barron, who's from Tomahawk, Wisconsin. He's a Wisconsin racer. He'll be running on Tuesday night. Wednesday night, Sammy Swindell, Rico Abreu, Brandon Welty from Sun Prairie will be running. Kevin Thomas Jr., Tyler Barron from Wausau, Wisconsin, he's running Wednesday night. Carson Hocevar, surprising to see him in a midget, but he does like to run just about anything. And Ricky Thornton Jr., they run Wednesday night. Thursday night, we'll see J.J. Yaley. Zach Bowden from Cambridge, Wisconsin will be running out there. Dylan Welsh, the guy we hear on the radio or doing a lot of TV stuff, he has a midget out there. Emerson Axum, Brady Bacon, and then last year's winner, Tanner Thorson. They run Thursday night. And then Friday night, Byron Walters from Spread Eagle, Wisconsin will be out there. There's a David Burgess from Janesville, Wisconsin. He runs. Todd Kluver, he'll be running Friday night. Justin Grant, Santino Ferrucci, who's an IndyCar guy and tries to dabble a little bit with the Xfinity Series, Zeb Wise, and Logan Seavey. So those are some of the bigger names that'll be running on each night. So it'd be interesting to see how these guys fare. I didn't realize there's that many Wisconsin guys out there, but as you go through the list, there's a lot more than you thought.
Well, you got 370 cars, they're going to come from everywhere, I guess. So that's pretty cool. And it's we're well represented. In the world of asphalt racing, we've got the Impact Survival Series. The Chill Chase Enduro was at Toma on New Year's Day. And when you hear about those enduro races, I swear that Stark name comes up. Kyle Stark was your winner. He had lost it on the last lap 2 years ago, so a little bit of a redemption for him. And congratulations there. The Red Eye 100, we mentioned last night, New Smyrna Beach, Florida. In the super lates, it was Casey Roderick. Johnny Sauter was second. William Sawalich was third. In the pro lates, Michael Hind won it. Jeremy Miller was down there and finished fifth. Didn't he retire a couple of times already? And then today, of course, the New Year's Bash at Dillon, South Carolina Motor Speedway. We've got 3 qualifiers in the top 5. Dave Trout was first, James Swan was third, Jason Toma was fifth, and that is available on pay-per-view on Racing America. Okay, that's it. Now,
one other interesting note about New Smyrna, it was announced over the holidays that the Tuesday night portion of the World Series of Asphalt Racing now, the late model race that night, 100 lapper, is going to be sanctioned by the Southern Super Series, which is part of the 3 different divisions that are doing the ASA Tour thing. So that might spice up the pot a little bit for super late model racing, which has kind of lacked a little bit. Dan, I mean, wouldn't you agree? It's not been what we've thought over the years when we've been down there.
It seems like a lot of cars come early, then it's hard to run all week every night, and you got to throw a lot of equipment, especially if you wreck. And it was always guys showed up here and there. But I think with this point race coming up now on Tuesday, you may have guys running other nights earlier just to get some practice time out there, to get some track time, and then you got the point race on Tuesday, and maybe they'll stick around and run some of the other ones later in the week too. Yeah, for the last one, the Orange Blossom 100, I think, is the Saturday night event. But it was interesting to see those better cars there yesterday, and that might be why, because a lot of those guys chase the Southern Super Series points, and if that's going to be part of the big ASA Tour here, that might actually help the World Series, because it's kind of turned into a modified event, you could say, over the last several years. So be very interesting to see who all shows up when Speed Week shows up in February.
All right. Now, part 2 of this is going to be when we come back, because we're going to talk about the Wimmers who have sold everything. That's right. What is that? Something's up there, which we're going to have to discuss when we come back.
Hey, race fans, Elkhart Lake's Road America Season Pass is now available at early bird pricing for a limited time. The Road America Season Pass makes a great gift for you or the racing fan on your gift list. This special personalized pass includes 50-plus days of racing, including the IndyCar, Superbikes, and more. Hurry and order your Season Pass today at roadamerica.com. That's roadamerica.com or 1-800-365-RACE. Road America, your national park of speed.
From racing engines to street engines, long blocks to turnkey packages, or complete custom engines, just ask and Wagner Automotive can fill your needs. All backed by many years of racing experience. These years of experience have provided reliability and performance that customers need to win races. Wagner's has been building championship-winning engines for top teams from NASCAR to short tracks in your backyard. This expertise has carried over to street engines they supply to top custom car builders. The Wagner Company, in the heart of Wisconsin, is out fitted with the state-of-the-art machinery necessary to design, manufacture, build, and test custom engines and their accessory parts. Dyno services are independently available for anyone needed to test their engine. Wagner's company can also provide you or your company with production CNC machining or welding services. All your questions and requests are handled personally by Casey Wagner. Just give us a call at 920-394-3557 or visit our website at WagnerAutomotive.com.
This is The Herd.
Attention listeners.
With Colin Cowherd.
The Niners have an identity. Green Bay should have an identity. Offensive coach Aaron Rodgers, but has lacked it. And now they've found it. Matt LaFleur came to Green Bay known as a guy that could craft a run game. So why the heck it take so long? Packer fans have been pounding the table for 5 months on that.
This is The Herd with Colin Cowherd.
Wow.
Weekdays 3 to 6 on the Big 920 and your iHeartRadio app.
Yeah, you know the Wimmer family. They have been dealers for Hamke chassis and Fury chassis for the last couple of years. They have been like the babysitters for a developmental program. I think it was in a Hamke car. I think that Jesse Love was in when he was coming up. He was a Toyota. A kid with the Toyota money behind him, and the Wimmers were taking care of him and nurturing his career. Well, they announced this week that they're getting rid of everything they have. They also own State Park Speedway in Wausau. I don't think that was part of what they're selling. But, Dan, I didn't realize they had another plan here. What are they going to be doing?
Sounds like they're going to go racing with Johnny DeAngelis and helping him out, setting his stuff up. They're going to kind of join forces and take on some races this year.
One driver they'll have. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's amazing to me after everything that they have done and been dealers and successful dealers for Fury and Hamke also, and they were all over the place taking care of them. I'm just, I don't know. Is it not financially solvent to do something like that, to be a dealer of race car chassis? Ed, do you know?
Oh, yeah, it is. They lost entrances, I guess.
I mean, I don't know the specifics. I just heard last night that, Johnny D was going up there and they're going to work together, so I didn't know how it all works out. We'll have to probably get a hold of some of those guys and tell us what the deal is.
Is John moving his operation up to Wausau? Are they coming down, or what's happening?
Maybe it's because Toby cars are getting so popular.
Huh. Interesting. I'm not sure, and I guess this is something that's going to be a developing story, and we're going to keep a close eye on it because the Wimmer family has been very prolific in racing and short track racing around Wisconsin. So a big change for them and a big boost for Johnny DeAngelis. My God, having the Wimmers, as part of a big team effort, that's going to make Johnny D maybe get him ready for another step here.
And maybe does Johnny D maybe have aspirations of running the entire ASA National Tour? Because if you're traveling up and down the road a lot more than what you normally do, that uses a lot more resources. So maybe if you tie these two together, that'll give him a better chance of being successful in that endeavor of trying to run that full tour.
Interesting. Hey, fellas, I don't know if you saw this, but maybe kind of pushed under the carpet just a little bit. The Texas Fall Race, which is a playoff race, and the Atlanta race, apparently one of them was already 400 miles, but they're all being shortened from 500 to 400 miles. I wonder if the ticket price is going to go down 20% to follow 20% less racing. What are the chances of that happening?
Slim to none.
Amazing, isn't it?
I think you'll see better racing with 400 miles.
Yeah, and I think it fits in the TV window better too. I mean, a 500 miler at Texas, those let's face it, those haven't been all that good over the last how many years, and that's about all you had left. The new Atlanta track was kind of a super speedway type event, so that 500 miles there wasn't as big of a deal. But now when you look at it, your only 500 mile races are the Daytona 500, the two 500 mile races at Talladega, which that's only 188 laps to complete that there. And then you have, the traditional Coca-Cola 600 and the Southern 500. And as far as I'm concerned, I think those are the only ones you really need to have that long of a race at.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. It has been proven, I guess, in the long run that it doesn't really keep everybody's interest as well in the last 100 laps of those 100 miles of those races. So it sure made a difference when they made Dover from 5 to 400 miles.
Well, it's not that at the end of it got interesting. The middle got boring, and they started losing their audience in the middle, But at the end, they got pretty good. So why just cut out the middle and run 400 laps instead of 500 and have a better race?
Well,
and you're still going to have the 500 number attached to the two Phoenix races because those are 500K.
Yeah.
And you have Martinsville's fall race, the Xfinity 500, that's 500 laps. Their other race at Martinsville is only 400 laps. So you're going to have a couple of that. But, yeah, I mean, years ago, darn near every race was a 500-miler, and those have all but disappeared now.
Fellas, the SRX series announced their schedule for this year. The bad news for us here at Slinger Speedway is we aren't on it. Stafford made it for a third straight year. But, it's one of those series that's meant to move around, and it's not the worst thing to get new tracks involved. I'm just a little surprised they keep going back to Stafford. They put a great race on, I understand. But, of course, so did Slinger. So I don't know what you guys think of that, but it's
some very interesting tracks on here too. You got obviously Stafford. You got Thunder Road Speed Bowl. I think that's up in the Northeast somewhere.
Vermont, I think, isn't it?
Vermont, yeah. Motor Mile. That one I'm not familiar with. Dan, do you know anything about Motor Mile Speedway?
I got to look it up and remember exactly where it is.
My.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know if that's dirt or asphalt. And you got Berlin, Eldora, the dirt track, and then Lucas Oil Speedway, which would be kind of cool to have Thursday Night Thunder back at Lucas Oil, or IRP as we call it.
Kind of where it started.
Yeah, right.
I'm a little disappointed they're not. I thought we put on as good, or if not the best show of all of them at Slinger Speedway, but
I stand corrected. That Lucas Oil Speedway is the dirt track in Wheatland, Missouri, not IRP. So they're going to finish.
That's Kenny Schrader's track, isn't it?
It's the big one that's owned by Forrest Lucas down in where the Show Me 100 is. So the two dirt tracks are going to be at the end again, Eldora and Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland.
4 paved tracks, and they end with 2 dirt tracks. And I hope Matt Kenseth is on board from the beginning instead of just at the end this year. Crazy stuff. Hey, we sure appreciate the fact that you tuned in for our first program of the year. My God, it's blowing right by, isn't it? We're in season 39, but we always want you to remember that real race cars have doors. And if they do, climb in through the windows. Let's Talk NASCAR is produced and directed by Dangerous Dan Margetta, who might just have a nickname of Hangover today. Our in-house engineer is Matt Losi. For all of us involved with the program, we appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you next week, everybody.
This program has come to you live from multiple locations via Skype. Any and all comments expressed on this show do not necessarily express the opinions of this station, its employees, or advertisers. Your comments are always welcome at mail@ltnradionetwork.com. Find us at facebook.com/LTN Radio Network. And thank you for your support since 1985. Tune in again next Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Central Time for the LTN Hour on the LTN Radio Network.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino this year.
I was only playing for fun, so winning this was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's #1 social casino experience. It's serious fun. With over 80 casino-style games to choose from, you too could win life-changing amounts of cash. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and give them a whirl. That's ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of a winner.